Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. I'm Josh Lander out here on the West Coast. Nate is out there in Italy. He's further East Coast than even before. And we are looking at play props here on a Tuesday with 5 games on the slate and 5 teams on a back-to-back. So make sure you are checking out those injury reports as we move ahead here. Also want you to head to thelines.com. Use everything that we have up there on the site these days. We also have a prop finder tool up there under the NBA tab to make sure you are getting the best odds available to you from all those books giving us bets this season. Also forgot to mention we have best bets up on the day. So you want to make sure you see that video up as well with 4 best bets from Nate and myself. More on those sides and totals, unlike these player props that we have here. So let's jump right into your first prop here, Nate, the newest pacer of them all, Mr. Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, I was surprised to see how low this was. I mean, 19.5 points and then only tacking on 6 rebounds for Siakam. It looks like Halliburton's going to be back tonight. And
yeah,
I mean, Siakam had seemed to find a rhythm without Halliburton in there. 23 points, 9 rebounds a game, over 4. I mean, his one with Hallie, he had 21 on 9 from 14 shooting. And the narrative was like, I don't know if they've really figured out how to vibe off each other yet. Well, I mean, that seems like a pretty good line to me. You're going against a Celtics team that's on a back-to-back here that probably is not going to have Porzingis. And, I mean, we keep seeing him pop up in terms of props, but then he's not able to go. I mean, I thought he would be out multiple weeks with that ankle. But in any case, like, their offense is not humming at all the way it used to. There's gonna be more rebounding opportunities. They give up their highest points per game and their highest field goal allowed when they're on back-to-backs here. The Pacers play them well. Halliburton has been an issue for them. He's going to be a guy they now have to focus on. Like, if this was just Siakam at high volume barreling into the lane without any help, I wouldn't be that high on him against the Celtics defense. But with, potentially no Horford, Porzingis, or Cornet, right? I mean, there's no rim protection. I think he's going to be getting it going towards the paint. And as far as the rebounds go, like 13 rebound chances per game in these last 4 here. grabbing 9. He's averaged 7.5 boards along with 25 points his last 9 against Boston. And that was with the clunky Toronto offense, to put it the nicest there. And this Pacers offense is something else.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a little bit weirded out by the Pacers, to be honest with you, and the Celtics on the back-to-back. Like, nobody's good on a back-to-back, by the way. We should make that very clear to the NBA in case they're not following. Like, nobody has a solid record on a back-to-back. I don't know anybody with a positive record. I'd have to look it up, but every single team tonight has at best 500 record on the back-to-back. Either way, with Pascal, like, I don't know. Is he affected by Tyrese playing? Tyrese is definitely playing. Like we said, I mean, definitely because he said he was, and I believe him. I don't know. Like, it's been weird. They've only had that one game together, right, against Portland. So you kind of want to see what happens there. But, like, I can't imagine that anything really changes if you sub in Pascal for, say, Bruce Brown to a degree, even though he's on a different part of the court. Like, he's getting the usage as a result. Like, he's the other dude with the ball in his hands at this point with Tyrese on the floor. So with that bet, for sure, I do like Pascal moving forward. I also we both do like Jonathan Kuminga. That's probably my favorite bet of the day. That was the first thing I saw last night was like, JK finally, thank the Lord in heaven, is getting his time on the floor. And it is directly correlated, by the way, to Steve Kerr and his comments to him. So the bet here for me is 26.5 points. You can have the assists. They're not very high. I think it gets you to 28.5 PRA if you want that. I just focus on the rebounds because of specifically how bad Philly is against rebounding against power forwards. And I do consider him the power forward. Draymond will be in there back for his 30, 32 minutes that he's getting now, whether he comes off the bench or not. But JK is also getting 30 to 32 minutes, and they are at different spots on the floor. And the points I think are definitely a good bet for Kuminga. I just like the rebounds as well because, like I said, that is a position that they are vulnerable against. Like whether you put what's his name? Jesus. Tsunami Poppy. Kelly Oubre. Wow, could not think of Kelly Oubre for the life of me. Or Toby Harris on a guy like Jonathan Kuminga. He's going to have his way. He's been playing all up and down in that elbow extended area, and that spin move on either shoulder is nasty. I assure you don't want to catch one of those shoulders while he's spinning to the hoop. So I like that as well for the reason that's where they're giving up offensive rebounds as well. Are the 76ers is coming in off of that sort of extended elbow area. And that's why power forwards are so successful. Like you just look at where they are most vulnerable on the floor, and that's where JK is working from. His three-pointer has been there as well, so you are going to have to get out on him now because he did shoot 42% over like a 5-game span from three on like 3 or 4 attempts a game, so nothing crazy. But the efficiency has been there. I'm not going to target a 3-point prop. I'm just saying his shooting is on point right now. And it was 6 games ago that this all started, and that was the time when he announced to the media, asked point blank, to be fair to him, if they had confidence in him to be a part of this team moving forward and as like a key pillar of this franchise. And he said he did not have trust in Steve Kerr that he was going to make him that and that he was going to give him the time he needed. And then 6 games have happened. And in that 6 games, he's gone over every single time. He's averaging 25 points, 6.5, basically 7 boards. He's got a couple assists in there, but the usage is up to 26%. And yeah, the minutes are at 30, but that also includes a game 6 games ago where he played 24 minutes and still got his numbies in that game as well. So the way that he goes to the rim, the way that the 76ers on the road, definitely much worse defense in general, much less 2 power forwards in general. But we're talking about the last few games for them on the road. It's been even worse, and they haven't had Joel for some of those, but their opponent 3-point percentage is all the way up about 40%, and they are giving up damn near 30 free throw attempts a game. And so if Jonathan Kuminga is going to be the dude either taking threes or attacking the rim, that's a good bet against this Philadelphia 76ers team.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Sixers, who probably aren't going to have Embiid, might not have Maxey again, and then apparently they're going to let go of the rope if that's the case. Like, we see them play faster and higher scoring when they do have Maxey and no Embiid, and that makes you like the over. But I mean, to give up 130 to Portland with both those guys out, it's just like, wow. I mean, so Kuminga would be going right at that defense, which has just struggled badly, is on the road. It has just not been good in any category, especially allowing free throws and paint points. And I mean, while he's added a couple threes here, I mean, that's the bread and butter for JK, right?
Yep.
So going back to the guy in best bets here was LeBron for 41.5 PRA. I'll say the player props here, 34.5 points assists, take the rebounds out of there against a Hawks team that is just dreadful on defense. Really, I want to take Trae Young props, but for some reason they won't put him up yet. They had some DeJounte props up after DeJounte missed a game. Trae's been back, so I don't know why I can't get my Trae props, but I think these two guys will be going back and forth, putting up numbers. I mean, the total is creeping up to 250 for this game. The Hawks defense is just abysmal. I mean, specifically 29th in defensive rating over their last 5, allow the second most paint points at home on the season, also allow the 3rd highest fast break efficiency, and the Lakers are getting out and running right now. I mean, they're getting like 21 fast break points a game in their last 3, playing at a 105 pace. LeBron, obviously the engine, and it's a back-to-back, but he said he's playing. He actually has a higher usage rate on back-to-backs this season. Last season, he had a 35% usage rate, 34, 9, and 7. And he averaged 35, 8, and 9 his last 3 against Atlanta, which just cannot deal with the physicality of a guy like Brown.
Yep. Yeah, LeBron for it all, for sure. If Atlanta doesn't win this game or doesn't cover this spread, it's because LeBron has 45 PRA. Like, I think this number might even be a smidge low for the points and assists. The rebounds could be there as well. I think he's going to be aggressive. If he's going to be playing like that, I got to imagine he's going all out. That if he is playing on this back-to-back, it's in part because, well, it could be because partly there's a farewell tour coming. I don't know. He wants fans to see him, but more importantly, like, this team is not in the playoffs right now, so they're going to need to win some games. Let me talk about a team that is in the playoffs, my beloved Knickerbockers, and Josh Hart, over 24.5 PRA, and all the money that I have on the Knicks to be better than a 6 seed or better this year is starting to look really awesome, continuing to look really awesome anyway after that OG trade. OG might play, might not play. I think he's a game-time decision. More importantly, Julius Randle's not playing. So that means Josh Hart's the starting power forward, believe it or not. Who did he guard all last night? PJ Washington, the starting power forward for the Charlotte Hornets. So that's his matchup now. And that's why over 7.5 boards was a great bet last night. And 8.5 boards isn't a bad bet tonight. But I do like the opportunity for him to score and dime up even, to be honest with you. That's where Utah is most vulnerable from that position and that spot on the floor. That said, Josh Hart is going to defy any sort of archetype that you might try to position him into, because he's just a short dude who's going to get a ton of boards, right? The rebound chances last night were up at about 17, which was wild. He had 12 of them. That's a really high percentage of your rebounds off of those chances, but to be a 6'4" power forward, getting the 18 or whatever 17 rebound chances is pretty wild. And so I think he's just going to continue to be in that spot. I was talking about in the other video how I don't know if Walker Kessler is going to get minutes because I never know if Walker Kessler is going to get minutes because Will Hardy is just kind of like that. But even if he is going to get minutes, he's going to be dealing with Hartenstein in this one, right? And that would be why you would expect Kessler to get minutes. Hartenstein wants also a dude that, like, I think he's going to play normal minutes, but was a little bit of a restriction last night. So there's a bit up in the air with this game, but Josh Hart's going to play. That's the key, is like there's going to be 35 to 36 minutes of him on the floor. Precious Achiuwa was out there and couldn't really stay out there. That was even a reason I think they considered having Hartenstein play as much as he did, is like they can't really trust Precious Achiuwa right now. He hasn't been awful, but he certainly hasn't been a positive when he's been on the floor. And at this point, yeah, it's really just like, something that you were talking about between Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. I was going back and forth between those guys. I'm actually okay with some Dante stuff as well. But when you look at Hart, the stuff that you don't like is the lower usage for him. It's not like he's as involved in the offense, but he involves himself in general. And there will be some tip-in opportunities, especially if Walker Kessler isn't playing. This Utah team on the road is just a completely different team on defense as well. When he comes in and when Josh Hart comes in and is going to be, if he's playing against any semblance of that second unit, then I feel really good about it, because especially the way that it's been playing on the road, it's absolutely terrible. Bottom 5 in terms of net rating. And there's Josh Hart and company, there's not enough guys to play, right? Like Deuce McBride's only playing like 18, 19 minutes as like the real only backup guard even for this team with how depleted they are. We'll see if OG plays, and that helps a lot. But even if OG plays, like I still like the Hart PRA. I would actually look at OG though if he's in there, because I do think he'll be a bit more of that power forward at that point. He's going to be on Markkanen. He's going to be a little bit more down low when Markkanen gets the ball down there. So yeah, I do like whoever is sort of in that spot for the Knicks in this game. If it's Hart, then I'm going with him because that's all we have right now. If OG is a late start, then proceed accordingly, because I do think he's the better bet at that point.
Yeah, me and Josh were both on this one too. Both on Kuminga, both on Hart. But I like just the rebounds and assists, to be honest. I mean, 11% usage rate doesn't really, indicate that he's going to score a lot. However, though, you are mentioning him getting out, and the Jazz allow the most fast break points per game. They also allow the worst assist to turnover ratio. So I think the assists should be there. I mean, really, it's the rebounds that we expect to carry the day here. 10 plus rebounds in a win gets you a nice plus 255. If OG's out, that's the only way I would make that bet, because then he's looking at 36 plus minutes, and in his last 2, he's played 36 minutes. He's made 36 passes per game. He was a plus 30 off the bench to help beat the Heat, and he's just an excellent rebounder for his size. This Jazz team is running on fumes at the end of a road trip, so give me the hustle guy. The guy Tibbs compares to Luol Deng from his old Bulls days. Says he'll just give you whatever you need that night. So, maybe he does fill up the stat sheet and gets you all those PRA.
Okay, good. I thought he was comparing their games, and I was like, you mean slow-footed, take his time to make a mid-range shot Luol Deng is Josh Hart, who's this, but I get what you're saying.
Modern Deng,
The modern-day Luol Deng, if he was a fast Twitch player. But anyway, what a fun road down the memory lane for those baby Bulls. That's all the time we have for you in the what do we have here? Play a props. We also have best bets up in a separate video with 4 of those plays. So make sure you are subscribed to that page so you continue to follow along. And until we see you next, happy betting.